The question I have is, have Americans handled COVID-19 or the coronavirus in the correct manner? Going to open Donald Trump rallies, having these Black Lives Matter, Antifa barbecues, if you want to call it that, where they burn shit down. The Democrats always have some sort of, hidden agenda. So that we're used to. So anything that Donald Trump says, they will counter with something else. So I'm discarding whatever they're saying. I'm looking at what the people are doing in America, and I'm going to myself, are they right or are they wrong?
Well, the first thing we have to do, Marie, is open up our country. You can't keep all these states closed up, the Democrat states, and they're not doing well. And the country is doing well. We're looking like a super V. But, despite the fact New York has to open up, New York's like a ghost town. New York is very sad what's going on there. And other places. We just won a case in Michigan against the governor that is, I call her the complainer in chief. All she does is complain, except when she's on the phone directly. All she does is say, thank you very much for doing such a great job. But the fact is that you have to open up Wisconsin. You have to open up North Carolina and Pennsylvania. We won another case there about opening it up because it's unconstitutional what these people are doing. So, number one, you have to open up. You got to get the kids back in school. And if you look at 99.9% with children, I mean, their immune systems are very strong. And we have to get the schools open. We have to get the place open. These people are doing it. And by the way, after the election, about 2 minutes after the election, they'll announce that they're opening. They know what they're doing. Look, they know what they're doing, and it's a disgrace. But I think, and the other thing is, I don't know if you've seen, but we're doing very well. We're up in Miami. We're up in Arizona. We're up in many, many states, more than we were last time. And I think we're doing very well.
So, in Sweden, they didn't close anything. They went on, they isolated the older people, the vulnerable people. They had a bunch of people that died, according to them. I don't have the research with me. But they just went on with their lives the way that anybody else would have gone. We in South Africa locked down everything. And I still don't get how we can give out figures when we have so many rural areas where people weren't tested. I personally, I haven't been tested, and I live in the city. No government official has requested that I be tested. If I go to work, I get my temperature measured. I get asked a bunch of questions. Have I gone to a funeral with more than 50 people? Have I have been in contact with somebody that has tested positive? Those kind of stupid kind of questions that won't really help anything, since most people seem to be asymptomatic when it comes to the coronavirus. Now, what also happens now is I see Facebook and Google has now come to the party and said that they are going to restrict any speech around the coronavirus that violates or that doesn't agree with what the World Health Organization says. Now, luckily, the World Health Organization has come forward and said we shouldn't close borders. I think that's what I heard. I'm still going to confirm. Before I post this video, I will confirm. Don't worry, I don't post shit that I don't research first. So, we haven't had a lot of deaths. There's so many things that a lot of people die a lot more of. One thing I must say, and I must say, I don't agree with Donald Trump in the fact that he doesn't promote social distancing and the fact that he doesn't promote wearing masks. Now, my reason for saying that is not Corona specific, okay? And don't get me wrong, I'm a big Donald Trump fan, but I can call him out on his bullshit. I can call him out when I think he's wrong. And the reason I'm saying, I think we would basically bankrupt Big Pharma should we wear masks. We didn't. I'm going to take a round number. We have about 1,000 people working in the building where I worked. We have the big circular air cons, which takes air from this side, blows it in everywhere else, and everybody gets sick at the same time every year, every time. The same 2 weeks period, everybody gets sick 4 times, 5 times a year. The same thing happens. Over this period where we had lockdown, people weren't allowed to work from home, they had to wear masks if they went into work. We had 2 people get sick out of 1,000 people. That's in a 4-month period. We had a couple of people get COVID, and I think we had about 4 people or 5 people die of COVID. I'm not sure, don't have the statistics. They don't openly discuss that. There are reasons why my work wouldn't discuss that. So, but you know, now I sit in a situation where you have Donald Trump coming out and saying that masks don't work. Now, I've done my research into that beforehand, and he's got a valid argument for the one side. Okay, so only 20% of it only removes 20%. It only increases your chances of not catching it by 20%, but it stops the spread of the virus from you to somebody else by 90%. So if everybody wears a fucking mask, nobody's going to get the illness. So it's selfish not wearing a mask. So yes, we can spin anything any way we want to. And I mean, why can't we open the economies and just wear masks? Why can't we social distancing? Why can't we, do all these things in conjunction with opening the borders? I mean, airplanes are a bit of a tight one because you got this air blowing in and out the whole time. So that's going to be a balls up. I mean, it's like playing Russian roulette if you go onto an airplane. But there are situations where you're not going to get past it. And to be dead honest, I think it's let's all get COVID. I hear there are people now having COVID parties, where they go out and they have a party with somebody that has COVID, so they can all get COVID and just get it over and done with. So the only problem is, it seems like the new strains that come out, you're going to have COVID more than once, So I find that kind of amusing. So they're getting COVID. They're determined to get COVID, and then they'll probably get it again. So, yeah. Well, so I've got my little mask here. I wear my mask. I'm a good boy. They force us to wear our masks, and I don't have a problem with that. We have more serious stuff to worry about in our country than wearing a fucking mask. So, how do I feel about the situation in America where they don't wear masks? I think it's stupid to hide behind a piece of paper and say you're trampling my First and Second Amendment rights when it's something that can save other people's lives, So don't do it for you, do it for your kids, do it for your... I don't like my neighbors, so well, I like one of my neighbors, maybe 2 of them, the rest I don't like. But do it for your neighbors, do it for your kids, do it for the schools. I mean, you're sending your sick school, you're not wearing a mask, you get COVID, you're sending your kid that's been exposed to you're sending to school. They're getting to contact with 50 to 100 people a day. They give the teachers that. I mean, it's just it's just ridiculous that people don't want to. Are you saying that if you go to the toilet, you're not going to wash your hands because it's your Second Amendment right to touch people with your wet, pissed on hands? You know, it's such a retarded fucking discussion, you know. And I'm so tired of people taking a logical discussion and turning it into some sort of rights violation or some shit. Because at the moment, it used to only be the left that did this shit. Now the right has jumped on the bandwagon as well, and everything that you hear is they're fucking with my Second Amendment rights, they're fucking with my rights, with my First Amendment rights. It's like the gun control thing. Have a guy. Why is it so bad to have somebody do a background search on you when you buy a gun? How the fuck can you go into a store and just buy a gun? That's you're not buying knives and forks for your kitchen table. You're buying a weapon. I mean, surely there needs to be some sort of control around that, you know. I have the same sort of frustration when it comes to that. Now, there's taking it too far. In South Africa, we've taken that too far. But that is specific to our government because they want to disarm all the white people, okay? And which the rest of the world don't give a shit about, so I'm not going to go into much of that. Even though they're slowly but surely killing us off over here. But yeah, that doesn't make news. Let's rather talk about your Second Amendment rights that are getting violated because you have to wear a fucking mask, you know. Yeah, let me stop this rant where I am now before I say something I shouldn't say. My question is, do you think that Americans are doing the right thing by not wearing masks and making a big issue about it? Because I've seen people running into shops purposefully without masks to draw out reaction, where there is a board on there that says no entry without masks. Now, to me, that's just stupid. And doesn't matter what anybody else says, it's putting other people's lives in danger. That 20%, it might stop you from not, it's only 20%, it'll stop you from getting it, but it might be 80 to 90% that it stops other people from getting your illness if your dumb ass has COVID. So, you know, obviously I have a opinion about this one, and it's probably come through very strongly in this video that I don't agree with the fact that people don't wear masks. And to be dead honest, if I had to have a job where I had to wear a mask the whole day, I won't be able to do it. I'm one of the lucky ones. I can work from anywhere. I can work from home. As long as I have an internet connection, a laptop and a cell phone, the only time I wear a mask is when I go to the shop or when I go outside and have to mingle with other people, which I don't really do that much. So for me, it's not a problem. I can imagine somebody that permanently has to wear this mask. It's irritating on your face. It's sweaty. You have to smell your own breath the whole time. So if you got stinky breath, you know it's a problem. You know, you get skin rashes, stuff like that. So I understand that it's not nice. It's uncomfortable, but it's unfortunately what we need to do at the moment in time for other people's survival, not even for your survival. I mean, it's why does a dentist wear a mask when he works on you? It's not just because he doesn't want the shit in your mouth to, you know, get all over his face. Why does a surgeon a surgeon and the nurses wear masks when they go into surgery? You know, now you sit there and you argue that a mask doesn't work. but this is something that's been happening for years and beyond the years. So I'm fairly close to people in the medical industry. I know nothing about it myself, so I'm stupid, so I won't even comment about anything. But I know a lot of people that have gone into the field of the study of infectious diseases and those kinds of things, and teaching people how to change bandages, how to keep safe, those kinds of things. So I have a lot of people that I know that have actually gone into those, from a nursing perspective, gone into that sort of spectrum of the medical field. And I mean, gloves and wearing gloves and a mask is one of the top priorities, obviously, and then not sticking yourself with a needle, after you draw somebody's blood. So I think Americans are treating this the wrong way. The Donald Trump supporters that don't want to wear the mask, the guys that wear the mask, kudos to you, because I think what happens is it's that mob mentality. So everybody kicks up a storm about the masks, and then you feel uncomfortable going there with a mask. I look at one of the rules that we have that came out is if you do heavy exercise, you don't have to wear a mask. And there's about 15 people in this Zumba class that my wife does, and she's the only one that wears a mask, but she's a registered nurse. So if you look at what happened at some of the, I wouldn't say riots, but some of the gatherings that happened because of this murder, this farm murder of this white farm manager, these people also, most of them didn't wear masks. You can write it down to stupidity, you can write it down to anger, you can write it down to whatever you want to, but the fact of the matter is they were also in the wrong. So by not doing that, and people are getting tired of wearing masks. I get that, but it's more the way that governments are managing it, and America hasn't had the same problems that we had. I mean, we had fucking army guys with guns and policemen with guns and shit stop you by the road and making sure you're wearing a mask and you are allowed to be out of your house. We were literally locked in our houses for 3 months. You weren't allowed to be on the road. I went to my job and I would pass 3 to 4 roadblocks where they would check if I have the right paperwork to be allowed, whether if I'm a critical worker and whether or not I'm allowed to be on the road. So America didn't have that. So the fact that South Africans stand up against the second wave and where they want to talk about putting us under lockdown again and move us to level 3, I can understand that South Africans get upset about it. I don't get why the rest of the world that didn't have this get upset. I understand Italy, where it seems it was very similar to what we had. The UK probably had the similar to what we had. So I can understand countries that have gone through this, that they get upset. But America hasn't been forced. Just in some Democrat cities or states they've had this problem, but the majority of the guys that are now kicking up a storm against this is Donald Trump supporters, unfortunately, and I don't agree with him. I don't agree with how Donald Trump is handling this, and I think as a leader he should say, guys, for safety's sake, for your neighbor's safety's sake, just wear a mask. It's not that difficult. Wear a mask.
Donald Trump, some say, is out to prove them wrong and is currently writing his third book, which is The Art of the Comeback. And that's what we want to start with. Donald Trump is here, and I'm pleased to have him. Welcome.
Hi, Charlie.
Here is Trump, The Art of the Deal, and this is Trump surviving at the top. And here is the Casino Journal saying gaming's greatest comeback. Here is, guess what, Casino Player, the comeback kid, Donald Trump's amazing turnaround. And here is New York Magazine out this week, fighting back, Trump scrambles off the canvas. Bill.
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And frankly, I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and
no,
not
I
loyal?
tell you what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not. And you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.